get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging. Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Inside Nigeria here at the Leadership Online Television. My name is Bode Gbadebo, and of course, today I'm not alone. I have a guest I'm meeting for the first time on the show, Mr. Sherifuddin Abiola Ashamu, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. Welcome, Mr. Ashamu.
Good morning, sir.
It's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Yeah, welcome.
All right. After listening to Mr. Ashamu, we shall also be having a discussion about a trending issue of the day. But before that, Mr. Ashamu will be setting the front pages for us this morning, and we are starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, after President Muhammadu Buhari's directive, military begins Operation Show Terrorists No Mercy. After President Muhammadu Buhari's directive, military begins Operation Show Terrorists No Mercy. Orders commanders to employ maximum firepower. Federal government defend purchase of 1.15 billion naira security vehicles for Nigeria Republic. FCT gets 2.6 billion naira to buy operational vehicles. Gadgets destroy bandits camp in Kuje. Bandits ambush AIG, kill orderly in Kaduna. Insecurity dwarfing President Buhari's achievements, says an APC chieftain. This potpourri of stories as captured by Leadership this morning. But before I ask my deep question, let me first have your take on the lead story as reported by Leadership.
The stories are wonderful, and that's what's trending at the moment, and that is expected because basically what we're having now is insecurity generally. So I think it's what's of talking about.
So we've done the right thing by reporting it this way.
Yeah.
So let me now ask my question.
All right.
Do we need a directive of the president to do the right thing?
We all need directive anyway, because a body without a head is as if there's no body.
So what was the head thinking before now?
So the head needs to wake up from slumber. That's just basic truth. Because before now, we know, even before the President Muhammadu Buhari came into power, there has been this issue of Boko Haram and all of that. I know how they've been dealing with it, and that is why people were yearning for change.
Exactly.
And at the time, they started very well, but at the time, I think they went to sleep. So the president needs to wake up because of the masses. Things are not going right. Because
of the masses, but I think, there's another headline later that will show you this is no longer about the masses alone. Even the rich are weeping about insecurity. Well, that's that on the front page of Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. And of course, we go to the next newspaper on our menu this morning, our sister publication, The National Economy. On the front page of The National Economy, 32 million housing units in Nigeria substandard as builders cut corners. 32 million housing units in Nigeria substandard as builders cut corners. Nigeria needs $390 billion to fix housing deficit, according to the World Bank. Wow. Mr. Ashamu, this is another interesting story, human angle story. Do we care about substandard houses, or we should even get where we can lay our heads in the first place?
It's unfortunate that we still have a lot of things to do in this country. Experience has shown, and research has shown that we keep repeating the same thing. The basic need of human being are just about 3 or 4: food, shelter, clothing. Do you get it?
Every other thing
is secondary. So in a situation whereby people don't have place to live, that's a problem. In Abuja, as a case study, you see many terraces, duplexes. I look around, unoccupied. You see many estates, see developers, they are building every day. Do they take cognizance of the poor masses? No. In the olden days, we could see the attempt of government whereby they provide low-cost housing to people. These are the people of the grassroots that we need to take care of. But as of today, this is not in place. So until when we get it right, when the government starts building houses, in masses, massive housing everywhere, aggressively, that's when we can get it right. You see many houses not occupied. What are they doing with those houses? And a lot of people who are found on the street, roaming about, nowhere to sleep. You see the high cost of rent. I don't know if you
sure. I stay in Abuja.
You said the high cost of rent. So where are we going? And I'm here that in the news that some people are abusing it, exploiting it. Some people are using the money for something else. This is unacceptable, for God's sake. The government needs to wake up. We need to have a vision in this country. Okay, in 2 years, in 3 years, 5 years, why are we repeating the same problem, the same mistake all this time? So I think, in my own view, we can still make it. We can still make it.
Housing is a very serious matter.
It's a very serious matter.
So now we can also look at the first part of the headline, talking about the numbers of houses that are substandard. You can see 32 million housing units substandard because developers or builders are cutting corners. Maybe because of high cost of building materials, lack of supervision, standardization.
Lack of standardization
on the part of government.
Yes. Because you can see, you hear building collapsing. Many buildings have been, expired.
No actions are taken afterward.
Many buildings have expired. I've had opportunity to travel out of the country, especially in the east,
Middle East.
Thank you very much. You see there that house have expiring dates.
Like drugs in Nigeria.
Like drugs. Once house expires, they put them down and start new one immediately. In Nigeria, you see everything is corrupt, fake things, fake goods, fake materials, fake expertise, fake. That is just problem. We don't have problem with the cement, but the quality. That is the problem. So there is no standardization in the country.
And this is a threat to our life and
our lives, where we live and we have substandard everything because of corruption. I can't imagine why are we jeopardizing the life of masses because of this. So government, I still go back to government.
Yeah, everything rests.
Everything rests on government. Government needs to do the needful so that we get it right.
We have bodies, we have ministries in charge of it. We have the Ministry of Works and Housing. We have boards, standards, building code. All these things are not being implemented and nobody is punished for it.
Nobody is punished because we believe the reason why we put this government, why majorly people voted for this government, because they believe this government is a serious government, is a principled and disciplined government.
Unfortunately, it's not
the reverse is the case. So the Ministry of Work and Housing, I don't know what they are doing. Just to go to work, go to office, not doing anything, the appropriate bill, misappropriate, and all of that. And we are seeing the results.
Quite unfortunate.
It's quite unfortunate on the masses.
All right, Mr. Ashamu, thank you very much so far. Viewers, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, we shall be dissecting other front pages we have on our menu this morning. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
All right, welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria for this Thursday morning, August 4, 2022. And I have been speaking to Mr. Sharifdeen Abiola Ashamu, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst who has been helping us to dissect the front pages now. Let's continue with the second segment of the program with the third newspaper on our menu, and that is the THISDAY newspaper. On the front page of THISDAY today, Oshomole, Tinubu can be held responsible for Buhari's performance. Oshomole, Tinubu can be held responsible for Buhari's performance. President failure in security, economy make APC's presidential candidate unmarketable, says Atiku support group. And of course, Oshomole is the immediate past Edo State Governor Adams Aliyu Oshomole, and as well the immediate past elected national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress. I don't know whether this is true, Mr. Ashamu, that we cannot hold Tinubu responsible for Buhari's performance. And this is the same APC that want to succeed. But there is the answer already by an Atiku group that is not possible. You saw the rider.
Yes.
Well, let me hear your take.
I saw it. Yeah. Yes, I say yes and no.
Okay.
If you don't blame Tinubu, Oshomole, who do we blame?
Okay.
Maybe I should blame myself, or I blame you for that. They are the one that rooted for Buhari, and they championed the cause.
Exactly.
And we won in anticipation that Buhari is going to deliver. But unfortunately, the reverse is the case. And why I will not blame them entirely is because everybody reposed the confidence in our president. But unfortunately, it turned the other way. So, like, you have trained the leader. There's no problem if he recommends somebody that this person has been, to antecedent and all of that.
And we don't have the power of knowing tomorrow.
And you don't know power of knowing tomorrow. There are a lot of problems anyway, because sometimes what you did not bargain for something and it happens, maybe economically, politically, unforeseen circumstances, natural disasters, economic, and all of that. When they at the time there was COVID, they were battling with COVID, the economic problems, fuel, price of fuel and all of that globally, So, Russia is also a determinant when it comes to oil price and all of that, or supply. So all these things has accumulated into, but notwithstanding, you remember that when President Buhari came into power, it took him about 6 months, to put his cabinet in order.
Exactly.
So all these things, it begins to people begin to worry that is it the same Buhari we used to know, or something has happened somewhere. So I think Tinubu has to share part of the blame, because they were the one that marketed the president.
But can he break away? Can he say, yes, I don't know him again?
No.
I'm on my own. I want to campaign for myself.
He has to take responsibility, because
so how will he campaign? Why will he tell Nigerians?
It is their government.
I will do differently from Buhari.
You know politicians. So we cannot undermine them. So they have their jokers. So I believe he has to take responsibility and be able to convince the masses how we could do it better. That's
now let's look at the rider to the story. What the Atiku people are saying: that president failure in insecurity, economy make APC presidential candidates unmarketable. Is it true that nobody can market Tinubu because of Buhari's failure?
Well, if you look at the pedigree of the both of them, Atiku and Tinubu, Atiku has been in the government at the section of
This democracy,
1999.
Like
He was there for
Lagos.
8 years. Tinubu was as a governor in Lagos. And, I keep telling people that Atiku has a lot to share, a lot of blame, in the problems emanating in Nigeria, because he was part of Obasanjo's administration, and we expected them to do more. But you could see there were a lot of power tussles, a lot of problems, even done in their own time. So if they have done it very well in their own administration, perhaps the PDP might not have lost it. The APC wouldn't have come into power. But because they didn't do it very, and I watched one of their programs, one of their campaigns, about almost 4 years ago, when Atiku was campaigning, wanted to, they admitted that they failed the country. PDP admitted they failed the country, and who are in the government? Atiku was part of them. So if he now comes down and is trying to, I believe he was just trying to play game, because he is also part of the problem.
Okay,
in
probably
the country.
Atiku's failure as part of the PDP government was 8 years ago now. Now Buhari's failure is present and is staring Tinubu in the face. So one, we have advantage over the other during the campaigns.
I think Atiku has an advantage
in this case.
because we believe, or they believe, that the APC could make changes. And unfortunately, okay, because they criticize PDP government, they criticize PDP. There was misinformation, this, that. Yes, I know they had their problem, and they promised that they are going to fix the country. Unfortunately, all the promises in the last 7.5 years or thereabout, up to now, all the promises failed. All promises cancelled.
Let me tell you why it is scandalous, Mr. Ashamu. Most of these things are in public domain. There are evidences. For example, the President Muhammadu Buhari, you can see a video flying around where he said petrol subsidy was a scam. And the moment he gets into power, he will do without it. 7 years after, the reverse is the case. I also saw a video recently where the president was blaming Jonathan in 2014 that why will the president Jonathan then use 6 billion naira to convene the then 2014 national conference when ASU is on strike? Why can't you just use that money to settle ASU? Now ASU has been on strike under Buhari since February till date, and we have money, we have everything. In fact, look at what happened yesterday when a story broke out that Nigeria gave 1.4 billion naira vehicle to Niger Republic. And people are saying, so we have money, we can do this, and we cannot, settle our own problem inside, and a lot of, things. And these people are keeping straight face, as if they are not the one who told us, those people, we are devils, and now they are doing worse.
Thank you very much, sir. I think APC needs to check itself as a party, because this is not what we bargained for. There were a lot of propagandas and all of that. Yes, the president promised to fix the country, all right? And unfortunately, he is not able to do that. So all hopes dashed. You remember that during the Jonathan, there are a lot of money were injected into security and fuel subsidy.
Yes.
Fuel subsidy, good. And there were a lot of criticisms in the part of APC.
Remember the Occupy Nigeria protest in 2012?
Even the president himself criticized Jonathan's government for injecting such amount of money into the into subsidy. But up to now, no change. Is the subsidy removed? It's not. You believe that, you see that the thing is still aggravated. So it is obvious. It is obvious that Jonathan administration, Buhari administration. I don't want to judge because
you don't want to compare.
I don't want to judge. Lastly, I've not seen any difference. There's no difference.
Lastly on this, let me ask you an honest question. I don't know whether you are a politician or not. The information I have so far that Mr. Ashamu, sitting right before me now, is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. So let me ask you an honest question. Without knowing whether you are a politician or not, do you think these controversies, these contradictions of APC will actually affect Tinubu's chances in the 2023 general election? All Nigerians are mumu, anything goes.
Anyway, I'm a public analyst, and so
in Nigeria,
I do a bit of politics anyway.
Okay.
I believe when it comes to politics, it's a different ball game. Politics in Nigeria today is an investment. There are investors that put their money down and invest,
waiting for returns, and they don't care how they get it. Like, we have an indicator of what happened in Osun State. And we have this country that we hear a lot of vote buying and all of that. What politicians do, they see that while people are sleeping, in the middle of the night, they wake up. That is when they strategize. It's just like people playing chess. They know where things will swing into. So you don't undermine them. So because we don't have the system. I tell people up to now, we don't have a system that can say, okay, this will take care of the masses. We are still putting the old wine into a new bottle. So whether APC or PDP, I'm not seeing any one of them, making a better change. Do you get it now? Until when we begin to see another party, another people entirely, maybe like upcoming youth, because these people, they are old people. You see their age, Atiku,
Tinubu, what do they want to offer? We know their pedigree. We know what they want to offer us.
We have a Peter Obi in Labour Party.
We have Peter Obi has been in the government. He was in APGA.
He's not new.
He ruled, was governor of Anambra State
for 8 years.
8 years. We saw what he did there. So it's not new. So to me,
but there are people who are new, who belong to political parties. They have never had any position before, but they don't have the money.
They don't have the money. That's what I'm saying. That
our policy is about money.
Policy is about money.
We have a election, a lot of them.
So not until when God Himself, because I want to believe that we have all realized our mistake. That's only God. There's nobody from all these people I'm seeing personally. I'm not seeing anyone that can make any difference. But sometimes God is wonderful. He can use anybody. Sometimes He can use a bastard. They said the house that is something that's Yoruba. They used to say that the bastards are not good. Sometimes the bastard can emerge somehow, and
make a difference.
God will just use him. God can use a bastard sometimes and make things work. So, but to me, generally, as what I've seen, APC does not have anything substantial
new
to offer us or to campaign against PDP. And PDP also
has nothing to come and say.
I have not seen. So if by now anyone can pass for either of them, I think it is that we are repeating the same mistake. So let's just all of us go out. We are religious people. We are religious people. Let's just kneel down and beg God to give us, anybody that will make the country, that push the country into a greater height.
Now, Mr. Shamu has called on Nigerians to resort to prayers.
Prayers.
All our understandings have been, tested, and no results yet since 1999. All right, viewers, let's go to the fourth newspaper on our menu this morning, which is the last but not the least newspaper, the Punch. On the front page of the Punch, rising terror threats, National Assembly leaders threat, rally security chiefs for protection. Rising terror threats, National Assembly leaders threat, rally security chiefs for protection. Senate holds marathon meeting with military, police, DSS chiefs, seek solutions. Attacks on Abuja, daring. Terrorists no more afraid, says House of Representatives. IG meets police commissioners. Insecurity most frightening now, according to Ahmad Lawan, the president of the Senate. Is there anything new? Is insecurity more threatening now? It has always been threatening. Or maybe, like you said, and I told you there is a paper that captured that now, National Assembly leaders are now threatened. They are now afraid that, this is coming closer to Abuja, and there may not be a hiding place.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the situation we find ourselves in this country when the terrorists, the bandits, they are coming to your doorstep. FCT, Federal Capital Territory. It's unfortunate we are hearing all this. That means we have lost the security, architecture in the country. So the National Assembly, I think, is a belated cry to say, this or that, because they see that these people are getting closer to them. And they won't take action until when it affects them. When it affects probably their children.
And there's no leadership. There's no governance.
That's governance. Let me give you an instance. In it is only in Nigeria, in all the country. I've had opportunity to visit some countries. This country that we have, in Abuja FCT, Federal Capital Territory, whereby you see the herdsmen, you see the cattle rearers, you see cattle moving freely in this country. Even out here in the same National Assembly, there were incidents of cattle moving freely.
Yeah.
Go to anywhere in Abuja.
Secretariats, yes.
And these are the people that we think that may harbor this terrorism. So what are they, as a National Assembly, what are they doing to that? Even in my village where I come from, there is no incidence of cattle moving freely because we have vigilantes, local security men that that will stop them from entering.
Probably we assume these people are grazing where they are actually spying.
It's possible. It is possible. So let's do away with that one first. Let's our FCT be clean of all these cattle moving about, aimlessly. They can enter. Imagine in secretariat, National Secretariat. You see, I don't know if you have.
I've seen them. National Stadium, I've seen them grazing.
Are there grasses there?
Of course, to wait for them to pass.
The cattle, they have turned to road safety. That they have the vehicles have to stop for them to move, and the governments are there. They are watching them. So not until when they wake up, the government wake up from slumber and stop all those things. So it's getting closer, which is unfortunate. That is to tell you that these guys, they mean business. And until they themselves, the National Assembly, the legislators, and all of them, they should stop, propaganda, just playing politics of their personal pocket and all of that. They should do what is needful for God's sake, because security is paramount to us. Their major work is to secure the masses, the country, and coming to their own doorstep. There is no security. The boundary they are attacking the national, the president convoy, attacking the AIG convoy.
Yeah.
That should tell you that we have lost it. So what is different between now and then, when Jonathan was here?
No difference.
No
In fact,
difference.
we have more
Everything is
audacious
complicated.
attack. Sure.
So I think APC now should be able to come out, and apologize to the masses.
Before starting to campaign for another
Because
person.
they need to apologize and admit that they have lost it. And if the president cannot continue, because I have the feelings that President General Muhammadu Buhari, I think probably is tired.
Yes, overwhelmed.
He's overwhelmed.
But it's a strange thing in this part of the country to resign appointment.
I think he's overwhelmed.
So what happened next?
I think I advise he needs to step down.
It's an advice that nobody takes to that kind of advice in Nigeria.
That's a Nigerian mentality anyway. But in the other countries,
the people chopping on that and we say, lie, you cannot go anywhere. We are here together.
The Prime Minister in Europe, recently resigned.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal?
Boris Johnson,
he resigned.
Happens in a Senate line.
There's no big deal. After all, you spend over 7 years, which I mean is enough.
So is it what you cannot do in 7 years, you will do in 8 months, in remaining 8 months?
So president he needs to go and rest. He needs rest,
All right, it's wonderful talking to Mr. Sharifdeen Abiola Shamu, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. And I must thank you for coming to the show this morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I look forward to seeing you more again. All right, that's all on the newspaper review segment on this show. When I come back, I'll be talking to Barrister John Agim on the imposition of 20 million naira fine by the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission on 3 pay TV platform and a television station. Don't go away. I'll be back shortly.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters. Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Well, welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria for this Thursday morning, August 4, 2022. Well, yesterday, the National Broadcasting Commission imposed a fine of 5 million naira on MultiChoice Nigeria Limited, owners of DSTV and Telecom Satellite Limited, TSTV, and NTA StarTimes Limited for broadcasting a documentary by the British Broadcasting Corporation, African Eye, titled Bandit Warlords of Zamfara. Well, another television station, Trust Television Network, Trust TV, was fined 5 million naira for the broadcast of the documentary titled Nigeria's Banditry, The Inside Story, which was aired by the station on March 5, 2022. The NBC disclosed this in a statement issued yesterday and signed by its Director General, Balarabe Shehu Ilela. Recalled that last Thursday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, noted that the federal government will sanction Trust TV and BBC for terrorism glorification in their documentaries. Mohammed said the federal government was aware of the unprofessional documentary by the BBC African Eye, where interviews were granted to bandits, warlords, and terror gangs, thereby promoting terror in the country. Consequently, the NBC said the hearing and carriage of these documentaries contravened the relevant provisions of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, which necessitated the imposition of fine on this pay TV platform and television station yesterday. Now, joining me now is an Abuja-based legal practitioner, Barrister Johnny Agim Esquire, to discuss this issue. Good morning, Barrister. Thank you for joining us this morning. Seems we're having challenges with connection to Barrister Johnny Agim. Okay, Barrister, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, Barrister, you must have heard from my introduction what happened yesterday. The National Broadcasting Commission imposed a fine of 5 million naira each on 3 television pay platform and a television station called Trust TV. Now, let me first have your take on the decision of the NBC before we go into the details.
All right. Once again, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure being on your program this morning. First, I must say that it is unfortunate that the state at which we are right now, there are a whole lot of gagging and muzzling of dissemination of information, especially by the state. And this does not and will not speak well for us as a country, particularly because we are practicing a democracy. I said it's unfortunate because the statistics that have been reeled out by international, both local and international organizations, had given the fact that over 350,000 innocent Nigerians, primarily made up of women and children, have been killed since 2009, particularly in states like Borno, Adamawa, and Co. But now it has now been cascaded into every part of this country. And so the media organization, doing their statutorily and constitutionally given responsibility of disseminating information to the citizenry, both the Nigerian citizens and the foreign citizens, are not in the wrong in any way. And for the government to want to come out, particularly since the beginning of last year, 2021, there has been a lot of muzzling of several media organizations on the allegations that they are publishing or giving out details of the activities of the insurgents. I don't think that is the right way to go. Rather, what the government should do is to partner with the media in harnessing and harvesting the information that the media organization, particularly their staff, the journalists are taking a big risk, risking their life to go to where the government officials themselves, the security agencies themselves cannot go to get this information. So what the government ought to do, rather than muzzle or gag or stop the media, the journalists from giving out this information, is to partner with them so that they can get this information and nip these things in the bud. But unfortunately, that is not the case here. There has been attempts by the government through using the National Assembly to amend even the Nigerian Press Council Act and the National Broadcasting Commission Act. You know, and of course, I like the fact that the media has sternly opposed that act. And so we cannot go back to the heyday, the black days of between 1983 and 1985, where it was a crime. In fact, I dare say from 1983 to almost about 1989, 1990, where it was prohibited for anyone to say anything because you are not sure of what will happen to you. We have moved beyond that, and the world had advanced. So rather than government gagging the people from disseminating information, what they should do is to partner anyone that they know that have any credible and vital information and use it to be able to quell these ongoing attacks on Nigerians on a daily basis. I think that's what I'll say for now.
All right, thank you, Barrister. Again, I think you made quite some point talking about journalists carrying out their duty as provided by the Constitution. But I want to ask you, in the quest of doing their job, now tell us the part of responsibility, because there is a blur line between doing your job and ethics. So tell us about responsibility expected on the part of journalists.
Fantastic. You know, we always call, or we pride the journalists as the fourth estate of the realm. Aside the three arms of government, which is made up of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, the media, the journalism practitioners equally occupy that high position. And so they owe it a duty to the country and the citizenry to make sure that the information that they give out is credible and is verifiable, is authentic. Because if you give out false information, that in itself has even been criminalized, because you can lead to a whole lot of crisis. That is understandable. And when I was giving my opening remark, I did not say that because the media ought to release this information, broadcast this information of the activities, particularly of the terrorism act going on in the country. I'm not saying that is a blanket approval or license that they have to disseminate unverifiable information. That in itself is wrong. And the Nigerian Broadcasting Code already has made provisions for that. That where such is done, such journalists and such media houses are sanctioned. And in fact, if it is proven that their act has led to crisis that will lead to cause of death or unrest, they can be prosecuted. Do you understand? So, but
Yeah, sure.
Because like you said, it's a thin line. It is now the responsibility of a journalist who wants to dish out any information to be sure that he owes himself a duty, and part of the ethics of the profession, that you don't give out information that you have not been able to authenticate. And you know, we always say that unfortunately in this jet age of social media, people sit down in their corners and just cook up information, and then people just keep forwarding information, howbeit whether authentic or not. That is understandable. But however, the general rule and the application is what I'm looking at. That generally, government should not clamp down on those who are getting authentic information on the activities of these criminal elements amongst us. Because in doing that, what you do is that those who have verifiable information will keep it to themselves. Because even as a citizen, I cannot give out information when I know that my safety is at risk. So what government should do, rather than breathing hard on journalists not to disseminate this information, is to rather partner when they get this information and they already have their medium of getting this information. Any information that is published out there, government cannot say they can't track it. So track any information that you think is sensitive, get to the root of it, find out those who disseminate that information, and partner with them to see how you can take this information. If it is viable, you use it, credible, you use it to attack and nip these issues in the bud. That is what I'm saying.
All right, Mr. Agim. Now let's
Are you
come
with
to
me?
we are together, sir. Let's come to what the law says as a lawyer. Now, apparently the NBC has gone against the provisions of the law to sanction the concerned TV station who carried out their job as provided for by the law. Now, what are options available? Because for me, it's like using a sledgehammer on an ant. All the three TV platforms were fined 5 million naira, including a TV station. Four of them, 20 million naira, with a directive that it must be paid before 30th of this month, or a higher or bigger sanction will follow. So what are the options available?
Fantastic. Now, you see, the good thing is that we have 3 tiers of government. So, and all of them are there for checks and balances. So the option that is open to these media outfits, and I want to believe that every of the media outfits should have their legal departments, is to quickly notify embassy and informing them of the necessity of ensuring that their sanction on their broadcast media outputs is illegal. And once that is done, giving them a time limit within which that should be reversed. And if it is not reversed, they quickly should approach the court so that the courts can now interpret by virtue of the facts that are available and juxtaposing it with the provisions of the law itself that NBC seems to be claiming, as it were, or alleging that these media outfits have breached, to now interpret it, and whichever one goes, wherever justice goes, then the party will know that they have been, but they cannot just buckle and stay back and say, oh no, because they have passed this, they have made sanctioned them, they will go ahead and then allow them to have their way. So the media outfit, the legal department in this media outfit should immediately respond back to the NBC, itemizing what they have done and making them realize that these sanctions could not pass the test of the law. And if within a specific period of time, and that is not done, then these media outfits, of course, should get their lawyers to approach the court to interpret the true position of the law.
All right, Sabari Sagim, let's talk about the bone of contention now, those documentaries. I don't know if you were opportune to watch any of the 2 documentary under question. I watched one of the documentaries and about bringing out the activities of the bandits in northwest Nigeria, and know what they think also, and their modus operandi. And the government found this offensive, that it amounts to glorification of terrorism. Now, I don't know, in your own estimation, could this be correct or not?
Okay, now, when we talk about investigative journalism, it goes beyond just reporting what is seen or heard. It is more detailed than that. And I was opportune to read or to view a BBC, an alleged now, because I didn't watch it on BBC documentary, but I saw it via the social media sent to me. I think it's a forwarded message, a video of a journalist on a bike being carried into the bandits' territory, where he actually met with a terrorist, a renowned one at that. who boasted that their reason for kidnapping was it 100 or so children, students in a school in Zamfara, if I'm not mistaken, is as a result of government's uh, act towards them or something, you know. And I told myself, wow, what a brilliant idea and what a brilliant documentary is this. Now you would expect that a government that is sensitive and as it is and is in tune and in touch with its people would, rather than start threatening such journalists, will use that as a verifiable tool, because the documentary that I'm talking about, the BBC documentary that are alleged now, I don't want to say speak authoritatively because it's alleged. It's alleged BBC journalists who did that documentary. It is something that one will want to say, okay, fine, this is, if our militaries have been finding it difficult in assessing these places, and our journalists have been opportune to assess these persons and go to their enclave, is it not something that our military should use, our security agencies should use, and then try and trace these people to where they are? Because we often think that these guys, when they kidnap Nigerians, they take them into their own territory that is difficult for our military to access. And we hear conflicting information from the government that, we know where they are, but if you attack them, there will be a collateral damage. And I ask myself, we have already been damaged. You can't keep sitting as a government and keep saying the reason why you don't want to attack bandits is because you don't want to kill those who are in captivity. And every day, these bandits keep approaching. Just 2 days or 3 days ago, I watched another documentary, still online, not on the mainstream media, of our military being attacked just by our backyard here in Buhari. And Buhari is in the heart. Buhari is in the city of Abuja. And so that is just a stone throw to the presidential villa. And you want to ask yourself, how long should we stay until these guys get to the seat of government? Before now, it used to be something in the northeast. It became something in the northwest, north central, and now they're already in Abuja. A few weeks ago, the Kuje medium prison was attacked. And now we don't even have the figure, which on its own is a shame on us as a country, that we have a prison where we cannot account for those who are in the prison, because there have been conflicting figures of numbers of those who fled, who fled that place after the attack. So for me, it's painful when you see these things and you ask yourself, are we a people who are actually serious? How do we allow ourselves to get to this point? The government should bow their head in shame, and rather than go after those who are trying to help us get information. Because from those videos that I'm telling you, I can authoritatively tell you that if I was going to have anything to do around that Buhari Jere axis, I won't go, because I know that it's already a hotbed. So this information helps us as citizens. Since the government is not ready to give us information, the information from the media helps us as citizens to be able to manage our movement, because we are no longer safe. So for me, like I said earlier on, is a welcome development, and I will encourage the media to keep doing more, because government have been living a lie. Most of us have been crying and saying up to the rooftop that Nigeria is at war, and God forbid that will become a failed state. And government have been telling us that they are on top of the situation. How can you imagine that just a few weeks ago, a couple of days ago, the news went round that the bandits have even now, because they have been so emboldened by the inadequacies of government, to say that they will kidnap the president of this country and the state governor, and everybody is just sitting down. We have not heard of that government doing anything up until this point. So my brother, please, sorry, forgive me, I'm becoming too emotional about this, but that is how low we have gone as a country. And the earlier we think of how we can put government on their toes, to make sure that they do what they are supposed to do. If not, they leave the office, the better for all of us. Because most of us, some of us, we don't have any other place to go to, and we don't intend to leave this country for anybody. Those who want the enemies of state to take over this country are the ones that will leave the country for us.
Yeah, Barrister Agim, you spoke wonderfully well on this issue. Let me recap some of the things before I ask the next question, because we are almost winding down. Now, some of the things you highlighted as informing this investigative journalism is the lack of free flow of information on the parts of the government. Truthful information might be likely.
Absolutely.
And yes, and of course, as journalists, we take it upon ourselves to inform, educate, so that you make informed decisions as a citizen. But for people against these documentaries, government and even media practitioners, they are saying, well, yes, it is good, but there are unintended consequences. For example, victims of insecurity, victims of vandalism, when you show the faces of these wanted criminals gloating on television, you are further abusing the victims of their action. I don't know how you see this. And this is where the issue is. This is the thin line between doing the job and ethics.
Can I say something? You know, may we not find ourselves in a situation where we are victims of any form of criminality. A man who is being faced with danger does not think of the options. He does not select options. He only goes for the available options. Nigeria is at a precipice. Nigeria is at the brink. We are at a tipping point. The difference between Nigeria and Afghanistan now is just that these persons have not been able to come and hoist their flag at the Aso Rock Villa. They are not holding their meetings at Eagle Square. The National Assembly has not been overrun. That is just the difference. But I tell you, there's no amount of pressure you put on me now that I will leave Abuja, my base, to any part of this country by road. Nothing. You know why? Because there's no guarantee. Even the military personnel, their life is at risk. Those who are supposed to secure me, their own life is at risk. So if they are afraid for their life, how would I now put my own life when I don't have arms? Even if I have arms, the men who will carry those arms, they themselves too, their lives are threatened. Every Nigerian is now an endangered species. So, whilst I agree that this information, as it comes out, it creates and brings about unintended consequences, which is that it puts fear in the minds of the people. But my brother, like I said earlier on, until the audio video of an alleged military personnel who was involved in an attack in Buhari, because people call it Zuba, but they forget that Buhari is just between Jere and Kaduna State and FCT. And Veritas University is in FCT, in Buhari here, Buhari Area Council. Until that came out, anybody would have told me up until now that those guys have been emboldened and they have moved as close as the FCT to carry out their acts. I would not have believed. So you see, I would have still, just a couple of months ago, I and some of my friends went for mountain hiking at Dawaki. What's the distance between Dawaki and Buhari? It's just a stone throw. So now I cannot take that risk again. Why? Because the journalists were able to come out with that documentary. So, yes, it is true that this information, as it's given out, it brings about fear, it creates trepidation in the minds of the people. But if government is not doing their own duty of giving us blow-by-blow account of the successes that they are achieving in taking these people out of this country, not just pushing them, because before now, what we'll be hearing is that they have been contained to a certain area in the northeast, as though the northeast is not a part of Nigeria. Any inch of Nigeria, any square meter of Nigeria that is in the control of any state, non-state actor is a crime against Nigeria. So telling us that these people, because they publish their information and it brings about unintended consequences on the citizenry, and by so doing, you will ban them and muzzle them from giving us information, is to a very large extent and to great respect to those in government, it's hogwash. If government was doing what it was doing by giving Nigerians blow by blow account of what they are doing, in making sure that these people don't have control of a square meter, an inch of Nigerian territory, then Nigerians will begin to take these things with a pinch of salt. But every time they tell us, oh, before now, the terrorism act, the terrorists were bombing the United Nations building. They were bombing the Abuja city center. They were bombing. I'm a lawyer for crying out loud. I have a matter in Gwagwalada. I can't go. I have a matter in Kwali High Court. I've asked the CJ, written to the CJ, to assign my matter back to a court in the city center. Because I can't risk my life for no matter what to drive to Kwali. A couple of weeks ago, we saw a video of students of FDC Kwali. There was a publication that they should come and move their children out of school because terrorist activities was going on in a village around the school. So how long should we stay until these people overrun us and government is telling the media who are giving us this vital information not to do it? We as civil society organizations and lawyers will support the media outfit against the government. And we know that the judges will be bold enough to give judgment against the judgment. I mean, the government official.
Many thanks to you, Barrister Johnny Agim Esquire, an Abuja-based legal practitioner, for joining us on the show this morning. I quite appreciate your passionate take on the issue this morning, and I hope forward to see more of you on the show whenever the need arises.
Thank you, my dear brother, and it's my pleasure once again.
Thank you so much. All right, viewers, that's the size of our show this morning. Make it with us tomorrow for the last edition of Inside Nigeria for the week. My name remains Bode Gbadibo. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.